Welcome to Whispers of Wisdom, gentle tales for your heart and mind. The evening sky is painted in soft shades of amber and violet. The last breath of the sun lingers along the horizon. The first silver of the moon rises. Calm, patient. In a quiet courtyard far from the noise of the city, a group of seekers gathers. They sit on simple carpets, their hearts open, their eyes gentle, waiting for the words of the elder. At the center sits the teacher, an old man, his beard white, his robe simple, and his eyes holding the light of many years. Beside him burns a lantern, its glow soft, its flame steady, a flame that has known storms, yet still endures. The elder raises his hand for silence. The murmurs fade, the night deepens, and in the stillness, he begins to speak. "My children," he says softly, "tonight I will not tell you one story alone. For love is not found in a single tale, and patience is not learned in one breath. They are rivers, rivers that run through many valleys, and each valley holds its own reflection of truth." The listeners lean closer. The elder's voice is slow, calm, like the rhythm of a heartbeat. "Love and patience," he continues, "are not two paths, but one. They walk hand in hand. Without patience, love is fragile. It burns too fast and fades into smoke. Without love, patience is hollow. It becomes waiting without meaning, endurance without joy." The lantern flickers, as if nodding to his words. Shadows dance along the courtyard walls. The air is cool, yet the hearts of the seekers grow warm. The elder pauses. He lets the silence breathe. He looks at the youngest among them, a boy with B. "Let the words settle into you like rain upon the earth. Do not grasp too tightly. Do not hurry the lesson, for the truths of the Spirit bloom in their own season." The courtyard grows quieter still. The moonlight spreads gently, mingling with the lantern's glow. The night carries only the sounds of wind brushing through the leaves, and the elder's steady, gentle voice. "Each story," he says, "is a thread, and together they weave a cloak of meaning. Tonight, I will give you 9 threads, 9 parables. Each will show you a face of love. Each will teach you a breath of patience, but it is you who must weave them into your own life. For wisdom is not in the telling, but in the living." The seekers bow their heads in silence. They feel the weight and the gentleness of his words. They know the stories will not only pass through their ears, but linger in their hearts. The elder closes his eyes briefly, as if listening inward. Then softly, he opens them again. The lantern flame reflects in his gaze. "Now," he whispers, "let me begin." The night holds its breath. The seekers lean closer. The lantern glows brighter, its flame steady, patient, and so begins the first parable. The elder leans forward, his hands resting gently on his knee, sawing. The lantern beside him flickers softly, casting golden ripples of light across the courtyard walls. He lets the silence linger, allowing every heart to open. "Listen carefully," he begins, "for the soul learns patience not from noise, but from stillness. And love is not born in haste, but in time." He closes his eyes for a moment, and when he speaks again, his voice is low and steady. "There was once," he says, "a seed, small, almost forgotten, carried by the wind until it fell into the dark soil, buried, hidden, alone. The seekers picture it, a tiny seed pressed beneath the weight of the earth, surrounded by silence. At first," the elder continues, "the seed did not understand. Why had it been cast into darkness? Why had the warmth of the sun been taken away? Why must it lie still, unseen, beneath heavy soil?" He pauses, letting the listeners feel the heaviness of the seed's waiting. The seed wept in silence. It longed to break free. It wished to push aside the earth and rise into the light, but it could not yet. So it waited. And as it waited, the rain came, cool drops sinking into the ground, reaching the seed's fragile shell. The rain whispered, "Be patient. The soil that buries you now will soon feed you." The seed listened. It drank. It softened. The elder lifts his hand slightly as if holding something delicate. Time passed. The nights were long. The earth was heavy, but the seed endured. And then, one quiet morning, something within the seed stirred. A small crack appeared in its shell, not of death, but of life. A tender shoot reach, ed out, slowly, carefully, searching upward through the soil. And, though the weight of earth pressed down, the seed did not surrender. It pressed forward. It trusted. The seekers breathed deeply, their hearts leaning into the story. The days turned to weeks, the weeks to months, and then, one morning, the shoot broke through the surface. At last, sunlight. At last, the open air. But still, the seed's journey was not finished. The wind pushed against it. The rain bent its fragile body. The sun burned hot upon its leaves. Yet slowly, with patience, it grew stronger. Its roots sank deeper. Its stem grew taller. Its leaves reached higher. And one day, that tiny seed became a tree. Its branches stretched wide. Its shade gave rest to travelers. Its fruit nourished the hungry. Its roots held the soil firm. The elder's voice softens like a breeze. "My children, the seed did not know when it was buried in darkness that it was being prepared for life, and it did not know, when it was pressed by the earth, that it was being strengthened. It only knew to wait, it only knew to trust, and with patience it became something greater than itself." He looks at the youngest seeker again. "Do you see? When life buries you in shadow, when you cannot see the light, do not despair. For the soil that covers you may be the very soil that feeds you. What feels like loss may be preparation. What feels like an ending may be the quiet beginning of growth." The elder leans back, his eyes reflecting both moonlight and lantern glow. Love is like the seed. It takes time to bloom. Patience is the soil. It holds, it nourishes, it teaches, and when love and patience grow together, the heart becomes a tree, strong enough to weather storms, generous enough to give shade, fruitful enough to feed the soul of another. The courtyard is silent. Only the sound of wind through the leaves answers. The elder bows his head, and softly he says, "This is the first parable, the seed of patience, the seed of love." The lantern flame flickers, and the night deepens. The elder takes a deep breath, as though drawing the cool night air into his spirit. The lantern beside him glows steady, casting soft golden light across his face. He closes his eyes briefly, then begins again, his voice low and rhythmic. "There was once," he says, "a river, born high in the mountains. It rushed downward with fresh snowmelt, its voice loud, its spirit young. The river sang as it traveled. It laughed over pebbles, it danced around bends, it leapt joyfully down cliffs. Everywhere it went, it moved swiftly, never stopping, never slowing. The seekers smile softly, imagining the river's playful energy. But one day," the elder continues, "the river met a great stone, huge, unmoving, rooted deep in the earth. The river rushed against it, but the stone did not move. The river tried again. It splashed. It roared. It struck with all its strength. Yet the stone stood firm. The river grew angry. "Why do you block my path?" it cried. "Do you not see I must keep moving? You are stubborn, you are cruel, you stand in the way of my freedom." But the stone only listened in silence. It did not answer. It did not move. It only remained. The elder lets his voice fall quiet, as if letting the seekers feel the weight of the stone. The river grew weary. Day after day it tried to push the stone aside. It struck with force. It shouted with anger. But the stone remained unmoved. Finally, the river sighed. "I cannot defeat you," it said. "I must learn another way." And so the river softened. Instead of striking, it began to flow gently around the stone. It touched the stone with patience. It whispered instead of roared. It caressed instead of struck. And something began to happen. Slowly, very slowly, the stone changed. Its edges grew smoother, its hardness grew softer. The river, with its patient touch, was shaping the stone, not in a day, not in a year, but over time. The river carved the stone into beauty. What once was sharp became rounded, what once was harsh became gentle, and the stone, once a wall, became a companion in the river's song. The elder lifts his gaze, his eyes reflecting the glow of the lantern. "My children," he says softly, "love is the river. It does not break the heart with force. It does not demand. It does not conquer. It waits, it flows, it touches gently, it returns again and again. And patience is its strength. For without patience, the river would rage and tire, but with patience, it shapes what even the hardest stone cannot resist. When you meet someone hard of heart, do not strike them with anger. Do not demand they change at once. Instead, be the river. Return with kindness. Speak with gentleness. Love with patience. For a river that flows with patience will change even the hardest stone. and a love that endures will soften even the heaviest heart. The courtyard is quiet. The seekers sit with stillness in their eyes. Some close their eyes, picturing the river winding around the stone. They feel the truth that love does not conquer through force, but through constancy. The elder lowers his voice to a whisper. Remember, to love is to flow. To be patient is to endure. And together, they can carve beauty into even the hardest places of life. The lantern flickers. The moonlight brightens. The elder bows his head, and the night grows deeper still. The elder's hand moves slowly. He touches the lantern before him. The flame trembles, but does not die. He looks at his students. "My children," he begins softly, "there was once a candle, small, simple, made of wax and a single wick. The candle was lit in a dark room, and suddenly the shadows stepped back. The light was not great. It did not reach the ends of the earth, but in its circle of glow, the darkness was gentler. The path was seen, and hearts found comfort." The elder pauses. His eyes rest on the flame of the lantern. The candle gave itself away, he continues. It did not hold its wax for itself, and it burned, and as it burned, it lessened. But in lessening, it gave light, and those who sat in its circle of glow did not see the wax melting. They saw only the warmth. They felt only the peace. That, my children, is love. The courtyard grows still. The students breathe slowly. The flame of the lantern leans with the breeze, then steadies again. "Love is like a candle," the elder whispers. "It is not the loudest fire. It does not roar like the sun. It does not demand the world to notice it. It simply gives, quietly, patiently, and in its giving, it transforms the night." The elder looks at the youngest seeker. "A candle is not afraid of being consumed," he says, "for it knows that to burn is its very purpose. Love, too, is not afraid. It accepts the cost. It gives itself fully, and in its giving, it discovers eternity." The boy's eyes glisten. The elder smiles gently. "My children," he adds, "the world is full of shadows, but even one candle makes a difference. Even one act of love can soften the hardest night." The lantern flickers again, its light spilling gently over the seekers. The elder closes his eyes for a moment, and then he whispers, "Be the candle, and where you cannot be the sun, be the flame that guides a single step. That is enough." The seekers lower their heads. They feel the weight of the lesson, not heavy, but luminous, like the glow of a small flame warming the night. The elder leans back, the silence deepens, and the candle's parable settles into their hearts. The elder lifts his gaze to the night sky. The moon shines brighter now. Silver light softens the courtyard walls. The lantern's flame dances in gentle harmony. He speaks again. "There was once a garden, not a grand one, not vast or filled with riches, just a small patch of earth tended with care. In that garden, seeds were planted. Some sprouted quickly, their leaves fresh, their flowers eager to bloom, but just as quickly they faded. withered by the sun or broken by the wind. Others were slower. For days, nothing showed above the soil, and the gardener waited and watered and prayed. "Patience," he whispered, "patience." Then one morning, a tender green shoot appeared. Fragile, delicate, yet alive. It grew slowly, season by season, storm by storm, until it became strong, a tree with roots deep in the earth, branches reaching for the sky. The elder's voice softens. "My children," he says, "love is like the gardener. It is not only planting seeds, but waiting for them to grow. It is watering the soil, even when nothing is seen. It is believing that what is hidden will one day rise, and patience, the root of that love. Without patience, the garden cannot flourish. Without love, the waiting becomes empty." The seekers breathe slowly. The courtyard is hushed. They imagine the garden, its quiet beauty, its slow unfolding. The elder continues. "In your life, there are seeds within you, seeds of kindness, seeds of forgiveness, seeds of faith. But they will not bloom all at once. Some must wait in the dark. Some must endure seasons of rain. Others will sprout when you least expect. Do not lose heart, for the garden of the soul grows in its own time. The task is not to hurry it, but to tend it with patience and love." The elder pauses. The seekers lower their eyes. Some feel tears, others feel peace. All feel the truth of his words. The night is quiet. The lantern glows. The moonlight shines upon their faces. And in the silence, each heart becomes its own small garden, waiting, trusting, growing in secret. The elder's voice returns. "Be like the gardener," he whispers. "Trust the unseen, water the hidden. Wait for what only time can bring. And when the season is right, the flowers of your soul will bloom." The seekers bow their heads. The garden of patience has been planted within them, and its roots are already beginning to grow. The elder sits quietly. The night air has grown cooler. The seekers wrap their shawls closer, but their hearts remain warm with listening. The elder lifts his hand as though holding something unseen, and he begins. "There was once a mirror made of polished silver, bright, clear, beautiful. When the sun shone upon it, it reflected light everywhere. When the moon rose, it carried the moon's glow upon its face. The mirror was proud. 'I am filled with beauty,' it thought. 'I shine brighter than the stars.' But then the dust came. At first, only a little, a small film across its surface. The mirror ignored it. Then more dust gathered, and the rain left stains, and the wind carried dirt that clung to its face. Soon the mirror grew dull. It no longer reflected the sun. It no longer held the moon. It showed nothing clearly. Only shadows. The mirror cried out, "What has happened to me? Why have I lost my light?" A wise traveler passed by. He saw the mirror, clouded and dim, and with gentle hands, he began to clean it. A cloth, a little water, a little patience. Slowly, the dust faded. The stains lifted. The mirror began to shine again. The elder's voice grows softer. "My children, your heart is a mirror. It was made to reflect love. It was made to carry the light of the divine. But when anger gathers, it is like dust. When pride settles, it is like dirt. When impatience grows, it clouds the surface. And then the heart forgets its true nature. It no longer shines. It no longer reflects. But love cleanses the mirror. Patience polishes it. And slow,
gently, the heart returns to its brightness. The seekers sit in silence, each one looking inward. Some see their own mirrors clouded by worry, others by regret. All know the truth of the elder's words. He continues, "When you meet others, remember, their mirrors too may be covered with dust. Do not judge them for it. Do not strike them with anger. Instead, bring kindness, bring patience, bring love. For just as a mirror shines again with care, a heart shines again with gentleness. The lantern's flame trembles softly, its light spilling across each face. The elder lowers his hand. His eyes glisten with quiet knowing. Keep your mirror clear, my children, he whispers. Polish it daily with patience. Wash it often with love, and it will reflect light wherever you walk. The seekers bow their heads. The night feels brighter, as though each heart has caught a little flame, and together they glow in the darkness.
The night deepens. The lantern flickers gently. The seekers sit quietly, their eyes fixed on the elder. Each breath they take is slow and deliberate. The elder smiles softly. He begins to speak. There was once a garden. It was not large, not grand, but it was alive. Each flower had its own color, each tree its own shape, each blade of grass a story. The gardener came each morning. He watered the plants with care. He tended the soil with patience. He removed the weeds gently, without harming what was growing. At first the flowers complained. Why does he touch us so slowly? Why must we wait for his care? The trees whispered to one another. We could grow faster, if only he did less. But the gardener smiled. He knew something the plants could not yet see. Growth cannot be hurried. Beauty cannot be forced. Each plant must take its own time. Seasons passed. Spring came. Summer followed. The garden changed quietly, steadily, but always in harmony. One day, a flower bloomed, brighter than any other. Its petals shone in the sunlight. The trees nodded in approval. The gardener knelt beside it, softly. You were patient, he said. You allowed yourself to grow in your own time. The elder pauses, letting the words sink in. My children, he whispers, your heart is a garden. Your mind is a garden. And every thought, every feeling is a seed. Some seeds are of love. Some seeds are of anger. Some seeds of fear. Some of joy. You cannot make them grow by force. You cannot make a rose bloom before its time. You must water them with patience. Yet
the night grows deeper. The lantern continues to glow softly. Its light dances on the faces of the seekers, who sit in quiet anticipation. The elder's eyes hold a gentle gleam. He begins to speak, his voice slow, deliberate. There was once a river. It flowed through mountains and valleys, through forests and meadows, always moving, always seeking. At first, the river was small, barely more than a trickle. It met stones and roots and hesitated. Why must I struggle so? It seemed to ask. Why do the rocks block my path? Why does the earth resist me? Yet the river did not give up. It whispered to the stones, I will find a way, I will flow. Time passed. The river encountered fallen trees, steep cliffs, and dark, deep pools. Each obstacle tested its persistence, but the river learned patience. It slowed when necessary. It pressed forward when it could. It listened to the land and found the path of least resistance. Seasons changed. Rain came and filled it. The sun warmed its surface. The river grew wider, deeper, and stronger. The elder pauses. His voice softens. My children, he says, the heart is like this river. Thoughts, emotions, desires flow within you like water. At times you may encounter stones, obstacles that slow you or turn your current away. Patience is learning to flow without force, without harm. Love is the river's current. It carries the heart forward, even when the path is difficult, even when it feels blocked or the way is unclear. Rushing leads to turbulence. Forcing leads to erosion. But steady, gentle, persistent flow.
The night is still. A gentle breeze whispers through the courtyard. The lanterns glow softly, casting long, quiet shadows. The elder's gaze rests on the seekers. Their eyes are attentive, their hearts open. Like soil ready for rain, he begins to speak, slowly, deliberately, his voice carrying the rhythm of calm. There was once a garden, hidden in the folds of a distant valley. The gardener tended it carefully, day by day, with love in his hands and patience in his heart. Each seed was planted with intention, each sapling nurtured with care. Some grew quickly, bursting forth with color and life. Others were slow, taking years to root, learning the language of the earth. A traveler once asked the gardener, "Why do some plants take so long to bloom?" And the gardener smiled, his eyes reflecting sunlight on leaves. "The seed knows its own time," he replied softly. "Patience is not doing nothing. It is listening. It is waiting wisely. It is giving love enough space to grow." The elder pauses. His voice lowers, like a river flowing slowly between stones. "My children," he whispers, "your hearts are gardens. Your thoughts, your deeds, your feelings are seeds. Some will bloom quickly, others will take time. Do not despair. Do not force growth. Love is the water that nourishes. Patience is the sunlight that warms. Together, they awaken life. In the soul's quiet soil, the seekers breathe deeply, feeling the rhythm of the parable settle within them. They imagine their own inner gardens, the tender shoots of kindness, the blooms of understanding, and he pauses again, allowing the words to sink deep. The seekers close their eyes. They feel the warmth of understanding and the quiet strength of patience. Finally, the elder bows his head, softly, reverently, as if honoring the journey of each heart before him. "May your hearts be gardens," he whispers, "your lives rivers, your souls candles, and your days filled with love and patience. Go now, he says gently, and live the stories you have heard. Carry them in your hearts and let them blossom in the world. The seekers rise slowly, their hearts quiet, their minds calm. They step into the night, carrying lanterns of wisdom within them. As the story fades into silence, may its whispers stay with you, guiding your heart gently onward. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more calming tales and timeless wisdom. Thank you.